Well, good morning, hello, and welcome back to the live stream of the East Midlands Regional Long Course Championships 2023. We will have the swimming action starting in a couple of minutes' time. Starting off with the women's 50 metres freestyle, 11 heats of the 50 free to come.
So we can now rename the president, Sarah Richardson. Is that better? Richardson. So, okay. So Sarah Tomlinson now wants to be known as Sarah Richardson. Okay? Don't know what's gone off there, but we'll sort it out. Andy's looking bemused. It did say that, yeah. Right then. So we've done all of those things. The first event will be 8:01, women's 15 and over, 50 metres freestyle.
First heat of the 50 freestyle just about ready to go. It will be Megan Neve in lane 2 for Repton, Amy McDonald in lane 3 for Bramcote. Already making mistakes, only been live for 2 minutes. 4, Jasmine Goodman for Notts Leander. 5, Amber Haycock for Rushton. Annabelle Coleman of Rushton in 6. 7, Eliza Humphrey for Northampton. Always worth having a quick look at the para S11 record whenever Eliza's in the water. Eliza does actually hold the 200 freestyle British para record and also the 1500 freestyle British para record. Could she add the 50 to her repertoire here? Currently held by her sister in 31.80 it would be. A hell of a swim for her to get that. So Neve in 2, McDonald in 3, Goodman in 4, Haycock in 5, Coleman in 6. 30.25 entry time for Jasmine Goodman in lane 4. Approaching the wall here. And lane 4 does get her first. It's 29.85 for Jasmine Goodman. Second is Megan Neve from Repton. Third, Annabelle Coleman. Eliza Humphrey goes 34.65, which is half a second or so underneath her entry time. And the 29.85 for Goodman there. She'd entered on a 30.25, so she's dropped under 30 seconds, potentially for the first time in a long course pool. Heat 2 on the blocks, Hannah Smith in 0, 1 Izzy Lee, 2 Lucy Carter, 3 Lola Halmershaw, 4 Katie Merriweather, 5 Amy Willits, 6 is Arwen Moore, 7 Ava Buxton, 8 Amarine Sanghera, and 9 is Elena Oldenhoff Kelly. Well, these girls in a straight line. Almost all of them 16, with a couple of 15-year-olds scattered in there. Katie Merriweather is 16, enters on 29.96, though it was lane 0 who got the touch there. 29.88 for Hannah Smith in lane 0. Had entered on 30.20, so dropped under 30 seconds. Amy Willits just over 30 with a 30.01. Moving on to heat 3. 0 here is Neve Burstein for Carlton 4 and 1. Libby Walsh for Swadlincote. Darcy Platt, Cecilia Leicester in 2. Millie King for Derby Excel in 3. 4. Emma Ran for Nova. 5. Caitlin Butters for Bassett Law. 6 is Emma McLean for Rushton. 7. Zoe Boucherat for Etwall. 8. Charlotte Hodgin for the City of Lincoln. 9. Lucy Bannatyne for the City of Leicester. Again, could see strong swim from the outside here. Lanes 3 and 2 looking well. That's Darcy Platts in 2, Millie King in 3. I think King should take this from lane 3. She does. Time on the wall there. Millie King first with a 29.18. Second for Darcy Platts, 29.45, and it's a 29.80 for our third place swimmer. As we move to heat 4, Harriet Dickerson in 0, Abby Tunnicliffe in 1, Brianna Hanson-Hort in 2, Evie Farrar in 3, Leah Bromwich in 4, Neve Ping in 5, Olivia Anstey in 6, Charlotte Byron in 7, Emily Wynne in 8, and Mimi Fisher in lane 9. Nova, Derby Excel, Repton, Leander, Corby, Bassett, Lauf, Melton, Mowbray, City Leicester, and Ripley in that order from top to bottom, represented in the pool. Into the last 15, and wow, it's absolutely impossible to call from that angle. Certainly, this one makes it a little bit easier. 4 pulling through in the last few meters. 5 going with Leah Bromwich there first in 29.56. That's not as fast as the previous heat. Second, Neve Ping in 29.61. Emily Wynne is third in a 29.77. Heat 5 on the way. 0, Sophie Millage. Katie Taylor in 1. Erin Ingham in 2. Evie Turner in 3. Tegan Hulme in 4. 5, Giselle DePonte. 6, Rebecca Darrington. Leanne Breakwell is in 7. 8, Erin Lee. 9 is Casey Cleaver. Swadlincote, Chesterfield, Louth, Grantham, Belfast, Marland, Leander, Radford, Long Eaton, Nova, Centurion, and the City of Lincoln. Everybody here for a different club. Coming up to 25, lane 6 seems to be the standout to that marker. That's Rebecca Dorrington. Can she get to the wall first here as well? I don't think she will do, because lanes 2 and also lane 1 coming through. 5, and it's going to be lane 6 or lane 1. Sorry, or lane 2. It was lane 2. Erin Ingham in 29.03. That is the fastest time so far. Rebecca Darrington is second for 29.13, which is the second fastest time so far. And Erin Lee third. Moving to heat 6, Erin Gent is in 0, Charlotte Bemrose in 1, Winifred Owen in 2, Hannah Bowley in 3, Janet Fung in 4, Bryony Lowe in 5, Jessica O'Heraldly in 6, 7 is Heaven Harris Burton, 8 Lucy Hitchin, and 9 is Samantha Miller. No swimmer in lane 5 in this heat. Of the swimmers in the water, again, difficult to pick out who is going to take the lead here. 7 maybe. Actually 7 having a good swim on the closing few meters. Heaven Harris Burton takes it in 28.07. Wow, we're almost a second under the fastest swim that we'd seen so far then. 29.03 was the fastest in the previous heat. Erin Ingham swam that, but we've just seen a 28.07 from Harris Burton. Entered on a 29 flat. She's just gone almost a second under that, and almost a second under the fastest swim we've seen so far. Heat 7 on the blocks. 0 is Emily Batchelor, 1 Bailey Carter, 2 Jessica Wright, 3 Macy Walton, 4 Madeline Soper, 5 Grace Turner, 6 Evie Woods, 7 Christina Charles, 8 Olivia Marshall, and 9 is Heather Watson. 25 metres met, and about 5 swimmers seem to pass that marker at the same time. Fastest into this heat is Soper in the centre, 28.60. It's only 0.2 away from the slowest person entered into this heat. Madeline Soper was at the wall first, 28.55. Still half a second slower than the time we saw in the previous heat. Second is Evie Wood. Jessica Wright is third. Heat 8 is the last of the ordinarily seeded heats. 0 here is Elizabeth Murray for Chesterfield, Grace Wingham of Kettering in 1, Holly Lamb for the City of Leicester in 2, Elise Kendall of Corby in 3, 4 is Phoebe Barden for Balpermalin, 5 Hannah Hodgkiss for Repton, 6 is Helen Sharrett for Derby Phoenix, 7 Katie Fownes for the City of Lincoln, 8 Sophie Baker for Chesterfield, 9 is Rose Gubbins for Nova Centurion. 28.22 fastest time into this heat, 28.60 the slowest time into this heat. The margins on the 50 freestyle always incredibly close as we come into the turn, or the finish I should say, rather than the turn, and it could be 3 or 5 there. First, who was it? It was a joint first place. Look at that, 28.20. That's the first time I've seen that so far this weekend. 28.20 for Sophie Kendall and for Hannah Hodgkiss to touch first. Phoebe Barden is third. I did say it looked close between those two, and the timing could not separate them. Wonder if they've done enough to get into the final. They should be there. Well, they need to be lucky to get there really from a heat before the cyclical ones. 9, 10 and 11 to come, all cyclically seeded. Babe Jones in 0, Charlotte Wright 1, 2, 3, 9. I'm going to rattle them all out. Alexandra Bueller, Ellie Tennant, Amy Davies, Georgina Pryor, Charlotte Hall, Francesca Whiting, Ella Price and Bella Hodges. I feel like Georgina Pryor swam in every race so far this weekend. Coming into the wall, though, is Amy Davies from the Uni of Nottingham, and she touches the wall first in 26.86. Well, she'd entered on a 25.93. She's just gone a 26.86, and that's the standard for the next heats to try and match. Second was Georgina Pryor with a 27.09. Heat 10 coming up. 0 Arabella Green, 1 Charlotte Room, 2 Olivia Han, 3 Maria Romanowska, 4 Laurie Devine, 5 Sophie de Groot, 6 Grace Conroy, 7 Anna Farr, 8 Eve Turnbull, 9 Mia Copping. Laurie Devine, again, a swimmer we've seen in action a few times this weekend. 25.86 is her entry time in the centre. That is 0.3 or 4 of a second ahead of Sophie de Groot in 5, but we saw de Groot swim well in the 100 freestyle. Will we see a repeat of that freestyle swimming in this final heat? Sorry, penultimate heat. Very close again between 5 and 3. It was Sophie de Groot there first, 26.42. That is the fastest time so far. Second, Maria Romanowska, 26.57. That's the second fastest time so far. And 26.82 for Laurie Devine. Well, that's the top 3. The final heat of the 50 freestyle, Emily Parkins in 0, Alicia Massey in 1, Anna Tyers in 2, Emma Croker in 3, Harriet Rogers in 4, Clementine Lavelle in 5, Jessica Lee in 6, Amelia Moult in 7, Tia Gardner in 8, and Georgie Reynolds in lane number 9. Final heat of the 50 freestyle, lane 4 is charging here. Again, Hannah Rogers, someone that we've seen in action across some of the freestyle. I think she won the 100 free. Prepared to be corrected on that, but 25.56 is her entry, and she is pulling well ahead of the rest of the pool here. It means absolute business as she finishes in 25.86. Well, that's going to put her fastest into the final. So it's going to go Rogers in 4 next to Sophie de Groot in lane 5. I'm pretty sure that's exactly what we saw. Or it was the other way around with 5 and 4. But those two swimmers next to each other was what we saw in 100 freestyle. And now we're seeing it in the 50. 25.86 for Rogers to qualify fastest into tonight's final. Next up is the men's 100 breaststroke. And there are 9 heats of this to come.
2, Kieran Saville, Daventry. Lane 3, Kai Gilsthorpe, Derby Excel. Lane 4, Owen Johnson, Repton. Lane 5, Nathaniel Costigan, Loughborough University.
100 freestyle is go. All of these swimmers are para swimmers, and they are the only para swimmers in the competition in the 100 breaststroke, I should state. 2 is Kieran Saville for Daventry, 3 Kai Gelsthorpe for Derby Excel, 4 Owen Johnson for Repton, 5 Nathaniel Costigan for Loughborough Uni, 6 is Owen Say for Nova Centurion. The way that para swimming works is that you're given a classification based on your impairment. Classes 1 through to 10 are physical impairments based on severity, so with S1 being the most severe physical impairments and S10 being the least. Visual impairments are S11 to 13, with 11 being the most visually impaired and S13 being the least, and S14 is intellectual impairment. In the water you've got S9 swimmers, SB9 swimmers I should say, because it can be different for breaststroke, in 2, 3 and 4, SB11 in 5 and SB7 in 6. And just because we've seen Kai Gelsthorpe touch thirst there in 124.73 doesn't necessarily mean that he will beat Owen Say, who's SB7, on para points. It depends how close each of them got to the relevant world record in their class. But Gelsthorpe was their first, 124.73. 141.43 for Owen Say puts him third in this heat. Owen Johnson second in 131.00. 141.80 for Nathaniel Costigan, and Kieran Saville rounds off the heat in 155.75. Heat 2 is climbing onto the blocks now. Gilbert Bailey from Leander in 0. Quinn Coppen for Long Eaton in 1. 2 is Sebastian Tonks for Carlton Forum. 3, Jake Adams for Louth. 4, Aidan Fitzgibbon for the City of Lincoln. 5, Harrison Griggs-White for Dronfield. 6, Ellis Bancroft for Loughborough. 7, Harrison Howes for Notts Leander. 8 is Cole Angel for Kettering. And 9 is Dylan Smith for Radford. All of these swimmers, besides Jake Adams in lane 3, are 15 years, or at least they are swimming in the 15 years age group at these championships. Turning it halfway over first, well, it was tight. 36.22 for Harrison Griggs-White in 5. Ellis Bancroft with a 36.28. 0.06 between those two, just 6/100ths, and Jake Adams coming for them as well. 25 or fewer meters remain on this second heat of the 100 breast. And approaching the flag, that is Harrison Griggs-White, who seems likely to take this heat into the wall in 1:17.46. Second was Aidan Fitzgibbon, and Ellis Bancroft third. Moving on to heat 3, Jacob Breers of Deepings is in 0-1. Sam Mesa for Repton. 2, Nathaniel Miller Walt for Belford Marlin. 3 is Jared Collins for Nova Centurion. 4, William Parnell, City of Lincoln, Pentaqua. 5, Jack Zavasha for Grantham. 6 is Harrison Bywater for Loughborough. Loic Wrightson of Wellingborough in lane 7. 8 and 9 is Jack Hughes and Hayden Potts, both of Lincoln Vulcans. Lanes 4 and 7 seem to be going out the strongest here. 4, William Parnell. 7, Loic Wrightson. They're going to turn at practically the same time. 34.73 for Parnell in lane 4. 35.87 for Wrightson in lane 7. So maybe a little bit less close than it seemed on camera, or maybe just that delay we sometimes get in the breaststroke turns. 25 metres to go. Wrightson dropping back a little bit maybe, with lanes 3 and 2 starting to pull through. Jared Collins in 3 and Nathaniel Miller Walt in lane 2. Approaching the finish, and I think it's going to be maybe lane 2 or 3 who get there first. I think 3 potentially. Yeah, Jared Collins in 1:16.62. Nathaniel Miller Walt was second. Only 6/100ths separating first from second there, and Sam Mesa in third place. Heat 4 coming up.
Lane 0, Christopher Oliver, lane 1, Jamie Green, City of Lincoln, Pentaqua. Lane 2, Alexander Minshipkin, Kettering. Lane 3, Mark Jourdan, Brixton. Lane 5, Cameron Bell, Rushden. Lane 6, Ben Wood, City of Lincoln, Pentaqua.
0 is Christopher Oliver. For Long Eaton, Jamie Green at the City of Lincoln is in 1. Alexander Menshutskin for Kettering in 2. Mark Jourdain for Buxton in 3. 4 is William Sodden Barton for Leander. 5, Cameron Bell for Rushden. 6 is Ben Lord for the City of Lincoln. 7, Nathan Morgan for Repton. 8, Aaron Johnson for Repton. And 9, Joshua Atterbury for Ripley. 34.88, Christopher Oliver over in 0. Turned very quick there. I mean, this could come from all over the pool. Some are certainly not keeping to their posted times here. With 5 to go, lane 7 and lane 2 swim under the flags at the same time. Which one was at the wall first? It was Alexander Menshutskin from Kettering, 1:14.89. Second was Nathan Morgan with a 1:14.90. 1:15.07 for Cameron Bell. Heat 5 on the blocks. Max Holland in 0-1. Lyndon Johnson. 2 is Jacob Hodgkinson. 3, Edward Bailey. 4, Oscar Goldsmith. 5 is Alfie Bisbee. 6, Harrison Clark. 7, Nicholas Salco Pavola. 8, James Dobney. 9 is Jack Sharp.
Lane 0, Max Hall, Nova Centurion. Lane 1, Lyndon Johnson, Hucknall. Lane 2, Jacob Hopkins.
Total of 9 heats in this 100 breaststroke. This is heat number 5. The two South-Link swimmers in the centre, Oscar Goldsmith and Alfie Bisbee, both enter on exactly the same time, 1:12.80. In fact, there are 3 swimmers that enter on 1:12.80. Edward Bailey in 3, Oscar Goldsmith in 4, and Alfie Bisbee in 5, all entering on the same time.
And it looks like race is down here in lanes 7 and 8.
Coming up to the finish, lane 7 with the lead at the moment. That is Nicholas Salco Pavola of Nova Centurion. Lane 3 coming through here as well. Edward Bailey for Leander, who was first into the wall. It was lane 7, 1:12.43. Fair margin in it in the end. Edward Bailey was second, 1:13.49, so over a full second behind. 1:13.73 for Bisbee to take third. Heat 6. Last ordinarily seeded heat. 0, Alfie Malloy for Loughborough. Rushton's Amantethi is in 1. 2, Joseph Mulligan for Bramcote. Bassett Law have Harry Brancham in 3. 4, Cole Stevens for Chesterfield. 5 is Luke Whitton for Long Eaton. 6, Luke Chambers for Nova Centurion. 7, Finley Caudle for Repton. 8 is Matthew Debenham for Northampton. 9 is Manav Mystery for Northampton. Again, the two swimmers in the centre on this heat both enter on exactly the same time. Cole Stevens and Luke Whitton both 1:11.98, and that won't be a conversion time either. That will be a genuine long course best for them. Have a first at 50. Well, it was lane 0. 33.90 for Alfie Malloy on the outside to turn first. And he continues to lead over on the far end there, actually. That bright yellow Loughborough hat on the top of your screen belongs to Alfie Malloy from Loughborough Town. And he is going to take the heat in 1:12.50. Well ahead of the rest of the pool. Second was 1:13.17. 1:13.58 for Cole Stevens. Seven, 8, and 9 are your cyclical heats. Paul Page is in 0. James Annabel in 1. Oliver Koval in 2. Dominic Bulls in 3. 4, Reese Taylor. 5, Mackenzie Cannon. 6, Arthur Llewellyn. 7, Aaron Flynn. 8, Max Balderson. 9, Oliver Richmond. Clubs, if you're interested, from top to bottom: City of Leicester, Kettering, City of Leicester, Repton, Mansfield, Loughborough Uni, Wellingborough, Rushton, and Nova Centurion. First turn, wow, very close between Reese Taylor in 4, Mackenzie Cannon in 5. 30.54 puts Taylor ahead at the turn in lane 4. Not by a huge chunk though. 15 metres, and Cannon seems to be slightly ahead of the Mansfield man in lane 4. Approaching the last few metres, 5 to go, and Taylor pulls forward in those last few. Right on the finish though, wasn't it? 1:05.76 for Reese Taylor. 1:05.98 for Mackenzie Cannon. Taylor's entry was 1:02.95, so might have more to show us in the final. Heat 8 now. 0, George Cummings for Leander. 1 is Evan Hawley for Nova. Henry Crust of City Lincoln is in 2. 3. Michael Edwards for Loughborough Uni. 4. Harvey Freeman for Loughborough Uni. 5 is Jack Blair for Chesterfield. 6. Daniel Owaid-Nichols for Nova. 7. Ross Balderson for Rushden. 8. James Berry for Radford. And 9 is Lewis Cotterill for the City of Leicester.
Lane 0, George Kings, Nottingham Leander. Lane 1, Evan Hurley, Nova Centurion. Lane 2, Henry Cross, City of Lincoln, Pentaqua. Lane 3, Michael Edwards from Loughborough Uni. Lane 4, Harvey Freeman, Loughborough University. Lane 5, Jack Blair, Chesterfield. Lane 6, Daniel Owaid-Nichols, Nova Centurion.
Harvey Freeman, second fastest seed into the competition. The difference between him and Callum Melville in lane 4 of the next heat is 0.82 seconds, but the 102 flat that Melville posts could well be a converted time rather than a genuine long course time. Freeman leads the pool with a body length at the moment in lane 4. Blair in 5, trying to track him down and doing not too bad of a job in the last few metres there. A bit closer maybe than Freeman would have expected. 105.18 for Harvey Freeman is the fastest time set so far. Faster than Reece Taylor's win of the last heat. Jack Blair is second in a 105.56. That'll also be faster than that time. So they are first and second into the final as things stand. Michael Edwards was exactly a second behind Jack Blair there as well. Heat 9, final heat now in the water. 0 is George Berwick for Grantham. Archie Forrester for Loughborough is in 1. George Whittle for Derby Excel in 2. Nova have Thomas White in 3. Callum Melville in 4. Luke Ibbison of Loughborough Uni is in lane 5. 6, Ryan Catra for Loughborough. 7 is Jacob Hamlin for Derby Excel. 8 is Kieran Howard for Radford. And 9 is Oliver Oxley for the City of Leicester. No swimmer in lane 6. Who's going to get to the wall first? There was a clear leader in the last race, but this one, anybody's guess. I think that was lane 7, 30.74 it was. The only time under 31 seconds, because 31 flat for Nova's Callum Melville in the middle. Can Jacob Hamlin take this heat from the right-hand side of Melville? Actually, Luke Ibbison is going for this too. We've seen Ibbison swim well this weekend. 15 remain. And Ibbison leads Melville by the tiniest of margins. Melville could still come back here on this last heat of the 100 breast. Look at that for a finish. 105.25 is not the fastest time. That's Freeman. Freeman will go into tonight's final fastest, but Luke Ibbison 105.26, I should say, sorry, for Ibbison. Second was Melville, 105.28. And we will see a very close final based on those swims, with Freeman on 105.18, Melville on 105.25, Ibbison on 105.28. So the top 3 swimmers within within a tenth of a second. Flight on the way. This is the women's 200 butterfly. Free swimmers in this first heat. Total of 6 heats in the 200 fly. We've got Paige Dyche in 3. We have Scarlett Sampson in 4. And Jessica Robinson in 5. Swadlinker Eckington and Nova Centurion. over halfway through the first heat of the 200 fly. Lane 5 leads at the moment. That is Jessica Robinson of Nova Centurion. Turns at halfway with a 1:22.91. Entry time 3 minutes, 0.10. The exact same entry time as Scarlett Sampson in lane 4. All three of these swimmers 15 years of age based on the age categories at this event, which of course set the age to be as at the 31st of December, so they may not have had their 15th birthday yet. Paige Dyche now in the lead in lane 3, and it just shows how important your third 50 is. Paige Dyche has clearly used that to her advantage. And now leads by a good chunk after trailing everybody, really, coming into the 100-metre turn. And for most of the third 50, she really powered through the last portion of that, and now leads comfortably into the finish. Remember, Dyche enters on a 3:01.10, expected to finish last in this heat, but finishes first by a good way, 3:02.24 for Paige Dyche. Second, Scarlett Sampson in 3:07.53, 3:19.28 for Jessica Robinson. Heat 2 on the way now. 8 swimmers in this one. 1 is Sophie Gibbs for Radford. 2, Liv Spencer for Lincoln Vulcans. 3, Caitlin Leach for Radford. 4, Gracie May Colt for the City of Lincoln Pentaqua. 5, Philippa Hickman for Nova Centurion. 6, Charlotte Hodgin for the City of Lincoln. 7, Eva Matthias for Repton. 8 is Libby Bunn for Boston. Lane 6 did not start this 200 fly. To 43.60 the entry time for Gracie May Cole in lane 4 to be the fastest predicted swimmer in this heat, but all of these appear to be converted times rather than actual times.
So heat 2 then, Gracie May Cole, City of Lincoln, and Philippa Hickman are 2 leaders in this event, this heat. Again, 200 fly, big stroke rate of the 50 pound. Coming up with 50 to go. Philippa Hickman then, Nova Centurion, Grace Cole of City of Lincoln Pentaqua. Madam President's got a clipboard now, taking names, oh dear.
Well, this has been quite the race between Philippa Hickman in lane 5 and Gracie May Colt in lane 4. Coming into the wall here, and Hickman should take this just about, but Colt going for it. 200 fly PB for Hickman was 2:43.67. She's just gone at 2:42.84, so almost a second PB for Philippa Hickman. 2:42.84 that finish time. Third was Eva Matthias from lane 7.
Lane 0, Erin Ingham, Louth. Lane 1, Lily Hamilton, South Links. Lane 2, Matilda Hayes, Derby XL. Lane 3, Libby Walsh, Swidlincote. Lane 4, Elizabeth Palfrey, Loughborough. Lane 6, Matilda Harris, Loughborough. Lane 8, Rowan White, Rushden.
Zero is Erin Ingham for Louth in 1. Lily Hamilton for South Links. 2, Matilda Hayes for Derby XL. 3, Libby Walsh for Swidlincote. 4, Elizabeth Palfrey for Loughborough. 5 is Annabelle Russell for the City of Leicester. Matilda Herries of Loughborough goes in lane 6, and lane 8 is Rowan White for Rushden.
Disqualification, event 803, heat 1, lane 5 for a technical infraction.
This is the last heat before we move to our cyclical ones, because there are a total of 6. This is heat 3. Elizabeth Palfrey of Loughborough Town in lane number 4. Is the leader. Enters on a 2:36.90. If you give me a second, I should be able to pull up her long course best time here. Yeah, 200 fly long course best for Elizabeth Palfrey is 2:39.61. So anything there or thereabouts will be good for her. A long way ahead here is Palfrey of the rest of the pool. 15 years old. There are 5 15-year-olds still to come with a seed place higher than Palfrey. She approaches her finish, and the time is 2:38.36. So that will be a new lifetime best for Elizabeth Palfrey by over a second as well. Second, Rowan White with a 2:44.17. Matilda Herries is third. Heat 4 is getting on the blocks now. 0 is Sophie Martin for Chesterfield. 1, Helen Sharrett for Derby Phoenix. 2 is Rosie Smith for the Uni of Nottingham. Nova have Livia Kingsland in 3 and Kate Morris in 4. 5 is Holly Marshall for Repton. 6, Katie Maloney for Louth in 7. Francesca Palfrey for Loughborough. 8 is Mia Matthews for Northampton. 9, Emily Gibbs for Radford.
Lane 1, Helen Sharp, Derby Phoenix. Lane 2, Rosie Smith, University of Nottingham. Lane 3, Lydia Kingsland, Nova Centurion. Lane 4, Kate Morris, Nova Centurion. Lane 5, Holly Marshall, Repton. Lane 6, Katie Maloney, Louth. Lane 7, Francesca Palfrey, Loughborough. Lane 8, Mia Matthews, Northampton. Lane 9, Emily Gibbs, Radford. First of the cyclical seeded heats, and that's Kate Morris there, Nova Centurion. Lane 5 is Holly Marshall of Repton, and Kate Morris. 69.04. Probably third place is over there, lane 1. Alan Sharrows of Derby Phoenix. Not a lot in there. If anything,